Good evening, everybody. I'm Scott Wasserman, founder and CTO of Artisan Mobile. I founded Artisan back in 2010 after being fed up with transitioning from web and application development into mobile, and there were massive gaps in the tools that I was used to for the past 2 decades. So when mobile came around, I saw right away that the key to mobile was experience, and providing a good experience was the core to engagement and retention. So when I was looking at tools to build, I came across the idea of transitioning customer experience management and building a platform around it for mobile. So what I'm going to show you tonight is the first product in a platform that we're building, and we're defining a sector called mobile experience management that allows you to manage really the end-to-end of how users are interacting with your software, the retention, and allowing you to do optimization on the fly without going in and out of the app stores. So I'm going to hop into it right now. All right. Can I see this okay? Second. All right. So, like I said, I'm going to show you Artisan Optimize, and what I'm going to demonstrate tonight is a way for any publisher to really cut down the time it takes to get feedback and send out new designs and really optimize whether conversion, retention, whatever your KPIs are for your mobile product. Right now, most of the market is kind of doing a fire and forget, where they're spending a lot of money, investing a lot of money in mobile, and not really seeing the returns or even have a way to gauge the returns. So the first thing I'm going to show you is an example shopping cart, this application right here I've set up just as a demo. I'm going to show an example of how we can try out different designs, different call to actions, and do all of this without the need for a technical user to be involved. So I'm going to get started here. What we're looking at over here is the Artisan platform. It's web-based. This is an application I'm running in a simulator. This can actually be running right on your phone, and I'll provide the URL to everybody afterwards. You can actually download a demo from the App Store and see everything I'm doing here live for yourself afterwards. So let's call this Meetup. Now, one of the things that I wanted to make sure of was that when we were building this, that it was super simple to integrate, and I found that a lot of organizations lack the technical skills to really do complex integrations in mobile. So to integrate our SDK, all you have to do is literally drag and drop an installer into your project. And I know this may be a little technical over the head, but just wanted to give you an idea of how easy it is to get something like this integrated with your application. You guys see this here? Ignore the gibberish, but this is literally doing the entire integration into the application for us right now. From some of our customers, a big brand name that you would know, actually one of the development team told us that he could hug us. It was so easy. And we wanted this first experience to be like, wow, that was easy. And make it as elegant as the software that's running on these smartphones. So now I've integrated the SDK into this application, and just to show you, this is just a simple shopping cart. But I'm going to run through a scenario where on this product page here, I'm going to test a few different call to actions. So once this integration is done, you don't need to have a technical resource involved. As a matter of fact, for what we're going to do here, it's probably incredibly mundane and annoying for the technical resource to do. So I'm going to follow these instructions on the screen here. second. Okay. It's always when I'm in a room full of people that I have trouble using it on the trackpad, so thank you for your patience. Now I'm running through this really quickly, but right now I'm connecting this application, which has the Artisan SDK in it, to the Artisan platform, and it allows us to like dynamically interact with this app, just like we did or used to on the web. Like call up a web page, if you use like Optimizer or Monetate, you can have direct access to the elements on your site. So all I have to do is navigate to a screen that I want to optimize. Let's call this call to action. And by clicking this create button here, I'm now reverse engineering this application. And this is pure native. We're not using HTML5 or anything like that. And it's reverse engineered this application where I can now go and modify everything in the application as if I was coding it, but dynamically and in real time. So if I want to do something as simple as change a font color, I mean that's pretty mundane. I can do it that quickly, and you can actually see it update live in the app. You can also do something a little more complex. So say I wanted to play with the call to action here on this add to cart button. I could say like add to my cart, and you can see it's automatically updated in the application. If I wanted to update images or things like that, you have complete access to that too. And say this checkout now button, maybe it's a little confusing on this page. I can actually hide that. So you can see here's where I started, my original design and my new design. And say I want to try one more thing and say that instead of add to my cart, maybe reverse psychology works and say go ahead. We don't care. Obviously, no good marketer would do that, but just to differentiate these two versions of this application. So like I said, if you can see here, even I can click into this application and touch each of those elements. We can see them highlighting there, and I have everything available that I would if I was in my code base. Do we do any questions or anything like that? Or?
Yeah.
I didn't know if we ran through this. Anybody have any questions so far? Good.
Yeah, just quickly. I mean, so are you identifying things at the object level, and then can you also capture gestures and complex gestures or multi-point components of interacting with the app?
So the next step here is literally everything that's happening in the app is going to be captured with this SDK. And you don't even have to have like a preconceived notion of what necessarily your goals are or the ends of your funnel. Since we have access to all that, we can define that on the fly. And one thing that I found developed literally around 60 apps or so, is that there's this major disconnect between the design team and the development team when it comes to mobile. I mean, the web, we have people that could do HTML and CSS and really work directly in it, but there was this long process, this long, iterative cycle of design, a developer working on it, and then back to design. The tool here is intended to give that to the designer or the product manager or marketer, and if the developer wanted to use it, that's great, but it takes that that core expertise out of the hands where this is really kind of mundane work. Good.
Yeah, you're showing us an iOS app. Do you also do Android?
Yeah, actually, our Android SDK is coming out next month. We entered private beta last September and launched our GA product in this February for iOS, and Android's following up next month.
How does Apple feel about it, since they like to lock down what happens in apps?
Yeah, this is a question I think I get at least once a day, and everybody in this room I think knows what Apple is and what they do. So there's never a guarantee, but we have like gone down to what we believe is the letter of the law with what you're allowed to do. And there's nothing you're doing here that you couldn't do in HTML5, but this is giving you the pure native experience, which companies like Facebook and LinkedIn really believe is the way to get like great user engagement and experience. So, did that answer the question? Sorry if I.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Good.
Is it your own intermediate language that you're using, and then a container that is rendering it?
That's actually a really good question. One of the things that's pretty cool about this is it doesn't matter how you build your app. We're able to reverse engineer it. We didn't want you to have to change the way you were already doing things. We wanted you to just like literally drop it in and get running. So if there's any app developers out there, however you've done it, whether it's all in code, interface builder, nibs, however you could possibly build it, this is going to reverse engineer it.
So you can output to for any format.
I'm sorry?
You could output then from your intermediate language to any
Yes.
format.
And it's not actually touching any of your code. And when we're pushing these changes here, it's actually not changing the underlying code on the fly. It's sitting between your application and the output from your application and what's being displayed.
Write once, run anywhere, kind of.
Yep. Good to go? Oh, good.
And after application deployed, do you have the ability to remove your SDK from the application?
Yeah, as a matter of fact, you could simply remove it. We also have, for some reason, you wanted it completely gone, we actually built in a kill switch. Or if you didn't pay your bill. But purposely, in case if there was ever an emergency. From day one, before we wrote any code, I ingrained a mantra into the team, and it was like, do no harm. The whole purpose was to improve user engagement and user experience. If we're impeding that, then we shouldn't have a product. So even all of this is happening completely quietly in the background. Users don't see any stuttering in the UI. The next time they go to this screen, like say when we changed here, they're going to see the new screen. For the analytics that come out of here, which I'm going to show a little bit here, that's all happening in the background and is highly compressed, so we're not stepping on their data plans either. So, good.
You find it difficult to be an enterprise software company in Philadelphia, or is there a pretty growing community down there to support you?
That's a good question. It's coming of age, but frankly, we did our seed round. The lead was First Mark in New York. But even our CEO has been working with the mayor of Philadelphia to help found Startup PHL, which is a fund that's being set aside to kind of spur the entrepreneurial economy in Philadelphia. So I think it's really in its infancy, but I purposely moved the company to Philly to be around this new community and have access to some incredible talent there. I probably shouldn't say that too. But there's some incredible schools in Philadelphia, and typically we lose a lot of the people to other cities, but I've actually now getting people in. Someone came from San Francisco to work for us and Boston, which I'm actually kind of excited about. Sorry to digress there, but that's a good question because typically Philadelphia is not known as a startup town, but it will. I promise. Any other questions? Cool.
One quick one.
Sure.
I mean, this is pretty cool. So let's assume you stay on the trajectory, you're wildly successful. What does Artisan look like 3 years from now?
3 years from now, I hope that this is just part of the tool set that you use to build and get the most out of your mobile investment. What we're showing you right now is just the optimization piece. We're actually in the process of building a whole analytics suite that will allow you to not only see your analytics, but for example, if anyone's used Google Analytics or any other packages, you get great insights from that, but what do you do next? We want you to be able to take that information and instantly go into a tool like this and optimize your application. We also are coming out with personalization and segmentation. So if I want to change this user interface or these call to actions for a specific segment of my user base, you'll be able to do that and get the information right out of the application. I'm gonna go to time. Okay, I'm gonna jump through this real quick. So assume that this is the design I want to test with. I want to see how my users respond to this, and if it improves my my checkout rate in my shopping cart. I'm going to do something simple here, just set this up for a few days. Now, this is some of the magic of the system. I don't have to have a preconceived notion of what the end of my funnel is. It's going to learn where I'm clicking, and it doesn't even have to be on the same screen where this test is running. So this confirm and buy now button here, I can say, let's see how many people get through and actually click through that button based on this new design. I can set this up for a number of users. I could set up how many users, the percentage that are going to get these different designs. I'm going to set everyone to this second design that we just came up with here. Save, and when I click Start Experiment here, this is going to take the place of me recompiling this app, sending it to Apple or to Android Marketplace, waiting for users to update and then getting feedback. This is instantly going to go out. And the next time I run this application and I navigate to that screen, I'm going to see that new design. So while this experiment is running, we're going to start collecting information about the number of users that have seen this particular optimized screen, the number of conversions, the conversion rate, and this gives us the statistical confidence that we've found a new design that's working best. And say that I find that this design is working better than my control. This publish button here, so right now I've done this experiment with a subset of my users. I can click this publish button and click confirm, and now all the users in my user base will get this new design the next time they're in the application. So you can see if I go here, I have the new design. So I'm going to show you one other cool thing here. So just from having the SDK in your app, you're going to have this dashboard to show you all the active users, sessions, average session times, all the different types of devices that are using your app and the OS versions, the daily active users and sessions, and based on the versions of your app out in the field, how many people are still using them. And I'm going to show you one other quick thing here, just what it looks like when you've completed an experiment. These are all of an example of all the stats you'd get back, and charting on how your conversion is progressing over time. So how am I doing in time? Good?
2 more minutes.
Okay. Any questions from there? Good.
So, very cool. What is the overhead on the app? What's the footprint of this SDK that sits on top?
The SDK right now, I believe, is about 1.5 megs, but we've run instrumentation on the apps that have this too, and it's really, really lightweight in memory usage and is not interfering at all with the display.
Is it relative to the complexity of the app that it's sitting on top of? So like if there's more hooks and controls, then your app goes quicker as well?
Actually, because, just on a technical note, we're only making changes to the things that you want to change. We don't have to hit everything, traverse everything in the application and at runtime. So it's pretty optimized. Good.
As you continue to change things, as they're getting rendered, you can change, say, the size of your hoodie and then decide to change it back again, and change it to red or green,
Mhm.
do those things stack up, or do you just?
They'll, once you, the publish button that we just saw there, once you publish those, that's your baseline, and everyone's gonna get that, and you can start iterating on top of that. If you've put down an image, say you've changed an image on a screen, it's gonna get cached locally on the device. All of this is, if, the first time you get these changes, they're stored on the device. You don't even have to be on the network to get them. If you no longer are using them, they're actually tidied up and deleted. So you're not gonna have that, like, a ton of stuff collected in the application.
Time for one more.
One more question?
What's your pricing model?
We're a SaaS model, based on the number of monthly active users, the number of tests, and the number of apps that you have. And it varies from 1, 4, and 10K a month, which is similar to what you would do on the web.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, I appreciate the time.